Ciao everybody, Caterina here. Welcome to my kitchen. Well, today I'm going to be preparing a meal for my beautiful parents. Sometimes they're just not up to coming up here, so I love bringing the food to them, fancy food as they call it. And today I'm going to be preparing a wonderful dish. My mom used to prepare this all the time. It's called Ragu alla Calabrese, and it has to stew for approximately 7 hours with homemade tagliatelle. Now let's get started. Okay, I'm going to mention to you about all the meat you're going to need for this recipe. But first I would like to mention these beautiful flowers that my sweetheart, my husband, collects for me every morning and puts them all around the house. They're from my garden. How gorgeous are they? I love this time of year just for these flowers. They're all over my house and I walk around and the fragrance is incredible. So you're going to need 500 grams of rump steak, 300 grams of pork ribs, and 200 grams of oxtail. Set your stove to medium to low heat. Here I have a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm just going to heat it up. To my hot olive oil, I'm going to add 2 finely chopped shallots, and I'm going to let them saute for about 5 minutes. Just going to put a little bit of kosher salt now. It'll help prevent the onions from burning. Okay, we're going to start with browning the meat. I'm going to do it in batches. I'm going to start with rump roast first. Okay, I'm just going to season with a little bit of kosher salt. I'm going to give it a really good mix. Now that my rump steak has browned beautifully, I'm going to put it aside and we're going to start with the pork ribs. My ribs are browning beautifully. I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt and black pepper. Okay, now that the pork ribs have browned beautifully, I'm going to set them aside. Okay, now I'm going to brown the oxtail. I'm going to salt the oxtail. And pepper. To add everything to the pot. There we are. This brings me back to beautiful childhood memories. Sunday morning, my mother would be up, I don't know, I guess around 5 o'clock in the morning, and she would be preparing her ragu for the afternoon lunch. And as children, we would be sleeping and we could just smell the ragu coming through the house. Just beautiful. Okay, now put all those wonderful juices back because those are full of flavor. I'm adding 1 cup of red wine to deglaze the pan, and I'm just going to let it simmer until all the alcohol evaporates. The alcohol has evaporated completely. I say this all the time, if you could only smell my kitchen. Okay, I'm going to add 1.5 liters of passata. Okay, now this is going to simmer beautifully. In the meantime, I have 2 cups of purified water. To the water, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. And the reason why I'm adding it to the water is because I wanted to dilute in the water. This way it'll distribute evenly in the sauce. Okay, I'm giving it a nice mix. And now I'm going to add it to my ragu. I'm going to add some fresh basil. This is from my garden. I have 2 little chili peppers from my garden. I'm just going to add 2 for now. Okay, and that's it. Now all I'm going to do is set this aside on simmer for 7 hours. After 7 hours, I'm going to turn the stove off, let it cool for 2 hours, and then refrigerate it, if you're not going to be using it. Okay, we're going to start with the pasta dough now. Here I have 400 grams of 00 flour, 2.5 cups. Okay, a nice big pinch of salt. I have 4 eggs at room temperature. I'm going to add 1 at a time. 4. Once you see that the dough is gathering around the hook, you know your dough's ready. I'm just going to let the machine do the kneading for me for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to cover it up with plastic wrap, and I'm going to set it aside at room temperature for half an hour. My dough's been resting for 1 hour. Now it's ready for us to make the tagliolini. I divided the pasta dough into 4. And before we can cut it into tagliolini, we have to roll out the pasta. Here I have a tray with semolina. So I start at 1. I'm going to keep going until I reach 6. This particular ragu sauce, a thicker pasta is much nicer because it'll hold on to the sauce. Okay, so this is level 6. I'm going to stop after this. Okay, my pasta is ready. Now I cover them with the semolina so that they don't stick. You only want to use semolina. You don't want to use flour because flour will stick to the pasta. And here we go. My parents are going to love this. Now I'm not going to hang this pasta. I'm going to make little nests because it's easier for transporting. How you make the little nests? I cover them in semolina. I turn them around my hand, and and there you go. So my homemade tagliolini is ready. I covered them in semolina, this way they won't stick. I'm going to cover them with saran wrap, and off to my parents I'm going to go. My Ragu Calabrese is ready. This one I made earlier this morning, 7 hours ago, and look how beautiful. The meat just falls right off the bone, and the sauce is incredible. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cook a little bit of pasta and try it with the sauce for you. Hi everybody, I delivered the Ragu Calabrese with the handmade Tagliatelle to my father, and he had it for dinner, and I have him on the phone. Bob, what did you think of the dinner I sent you?
It's delicious, it's the best. I just started to eat. It's good. It's a number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, and you think everybody should do this recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do?
Everybody, it's love it.
Okay, thank you, Pa. Enjoy.
Okay, thank
I
you.
love you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. I'm right back to my childhood. This is what my mama used to prepare on Sunday afternoons, and we would sit around the table, and this is what we would eat. Homemade tagliolini with ragu alla calabrese, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste it for you. Oh. You have to make this. You just have to. It is absolutely delicious, out of this world. And please, when you do try this recipe, I want you to get back to me. Nice comment. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I love sharing my childhood recipes with you. And it's Caterina, from my home to yours. Don't forget to press your like button. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. Ciao.